So picture this. You are like 20 minutes into a high-stakes job interview.
Oh, boy.
Right. And you are just absolutely nailing it. I mean, your answers about your 5-year plan were flawless. Your breakdown of the industry trends was sharp. You can just tell the hiring manager is impressed.
You're in the zone.
Exactly. You're in the zone. Then they close their notebook, they lean back in their chair, and they ask you this seemingly innocent question. So, what do you do for fun?
The dreaded question.
And suddenly, your mind just goes entirely blank. Your pulse spikes, you're staring at them, desperately trying to remember if you've ever actually, experienced joy in your entire life. You completely freeze.
It is a terrifying moment. And yet it happens to almost everyone.
Wait, really? It's that common?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you go from articulating these complex professional strategies to suddenly feeling like some kind of alien who just landed on Earth and doesn't understand the concept of human recreation.
Yes. That is exactly what it feels like.
And, the cognitive science behind this is actually fascinating because when we feel tested, our sympathetic nervous system flares up.
Like a fight or flight response.
Exactly. That fight or flight response effectively hijacks the brain's working memory. So when you're asked an unstructured, open-ended personal question under pressure, the prefrontal cortex essentially it short circuits.
Wow. Which makes perfect sense when you frame it as a biological response. It feels like a pop quiz that you completely forgot to study for.
Right.
I mean, we spend so much of our mental energy optimizing our work or our studies, all our daily responsibilities, that our free time just becomes this like blank space in our conscious narrative.
We don't even think about it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's really what today's deep dive is all about. We're looking at a great guide titled Finding Your Flow, a podcast guide to hobbies.
It's a really insightful resource.
It really is. We're going to explore exactly why our brains short-circuit at that question, and more importantly, how framing your free time correctly is like the ultimate secret weapon for human connection.
Yeah, because the guide argues that talking about your hobbies isn't just filler conversation, right?
No, not at all.
It's actually a master class in building rapport. Whether you're at a networking event or trying to make friends in a new city or just, surviving small talk.
Surviving small talk is a skill in itself, but yeah, we really have to stop treating the "what do you do for fun" question as just an afterthought.
It's the universal bridge in human interaction. But to cross that bridge without panicking, we first have to address that cognitive overload we experience in those high-pressure moments.
Right. And to ace that pop quiz about our hobbies, we need to look at the foundational tools the guide provides, kind of moving from the anxiety of the question to a practical toolkit.
Exactly. The source material begins by laying out a very specific communication strategy, though it's kind of disguised as basic vocabulary.
Yeah, I noticed that. It highlights these foundational terms, right? Like free time, hobby, interest, relax, creative, outdoors, routine.
Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, at first glance, it feels almost too basic. I mean, we all know what the word outdoors means,
Sure.
but the guide pairs those words with these structural phrases. Things like, in my free time, or I'm really into, and it helps me relax.
Which is key.
It is. It explicitly advises that when you talk about your hobbies, you should just abandon long, complicated grammar. The cultural tip here is that one clear, simple sentence actually makes you sound more confident.
And you might perceive it as basic, but from a psychological standpoint, it is a highly effective emergency parachute.
An emergency parachute, I like that.
Yeah, because we often operate under this false assumption that complexity equals competence.
Oh, totally. We think we need to sound super smart.
Right, we think we need to deliver a TED Talk about our weekend activities to sound impressive. But when your working memory is already compromised by the stress of the conversation.
Like in the job interview.
Exactly. Trying to construct a flowery, multi-clause sentence is exactly what causes you to stumble, use filler words, and sound unsure of yourself.
I hear that, but, well, let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's go back to that job interview. The stakes are high. They want a dynamic, interesting candidate.
Naturally.
If I just offer up a hyper simple sentence like, I'm into reading, doesn't that make me sound a bit, I don't know, flat or basic, I'd be worried they'd think I lack depth.
Only if you stop there. That's the trick. The simple sentence isn't the whole story. It's the anchor.
The anchor. Okay, explain that.
Think about the physical function of an anchor. It stops you from drifting aimlessly. When you use a simple structured sentence like, "In my free time, I'm into reading," you immediately halt the rambling.
Ah, so no more ums and us.
Exactly. You eliminate the panic. That clear anchor sentence gets the logistical information out of the way immediately. And that clears the path for the real magic of the conversation.
Which is what?
It moves you safely from the what of the hobby to the why.
Moving from the what to the why. Okay, that transition is where the guide really shifts gears, I think, into the emotional core of our daily routines.
It really does.
Because, to illustrate this, the text sets up a contrast between two different individuals. And I have to say, the first one is uncomfortably relatable.
Oh, for sure.
It describes someone who works all week, they are exhausted, and when they finally get some free time, they're just bored. They spend their hours passively watching videos, but it doesn't actually make them happy.
No, it just numbs them.
Right. They feel stuck. They explicitly state they need a change and want a hobby to help them learn something new.
And that passive consumption is basically the modern condition in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We mistake zoning out for rest.
Yes.
The brain is still receiving these rapid-fire dopamine hits from scrolling, so it's not actually recovering, but the body is completely stagnant.
Right. So you're exhausted but still wired.
Exactly. It creates this profound sense of emptiness. Now, contrast that with the second person the text introduces, who has adopted a very specific active routine.
The painter.
Yes, the painter.
And I really love the specific details the source provides here because this person isn't trying to become the next Picasso, you know.
Not at all.
They paint for exactly 30 minutes after dinner, and they paint incredibly simple things. Flowers, coffee cups, small landscapes.
Very low stakes.
Exactly. They aren't trying to monetize it. They aren't trying to build an Instagram following. They do it simply because it helps them feel calm after a busy day.
The contrast there is vital. The first person is consuming passively and feeling depleted. The second person is creating actively in a highly contained, low-stakes window of time and feeling restored.
Which is a huge difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
And the guide brings in another narrative about a runner to reinforce this exact point.
Yeah, the runner's story is fascinating to me because of the motivation. This person used to run in the morning, and the reason they give is purely emotional.
Right.
They say they ran because it made them feel free. Like when they were running outside, the emails and the deadlines just vanished. They could just breathe and move.
That there's a catch. Right.
There is. The text includes this crucial, very human detail. They stopped running because they felt lazy.
Which is so brilliant to include in the guide, because it normalizes the friction of maintaining a habit. I mean, we all fall off the wagon.
Every single one of us.
But look at the through line, connecting the coffee cup painter and the runner. The underlying lesson the text is driving at is that the why is the only thing that makes your story compelling.
It's not about the brand of paint.
No.
And it's not about the mileage of the run. It's about the emotional outcome, feeling peaceful versus feeling free.
Exactly. When you sit in that interview or at that dinner party and say, "I paint coffee cups because it makes me feel calm," you aren't just reciting a list of activities.
You're giving them a window into your mind.
Yes, you are giving the listener a window into your emotional landscape. You're showing them how you process the world and how you manage your own stress.
The way I look at it, it's like an analogy. Sharing the what of a hobby is like handing someone a recipe card.
Okay, I like where this is going.
You're just listing the raw ingredients.
Yeah.
I run, I read, I paint. It's factual, but it's dry.
Very dry.
But sharing the why is like letting them actually taste the food is where the flavor is. It transforms the conversation from a boring data exchange into an actual human connection.
Tasting the food is a great way to visualize it.
Yeah.
You're offering them the resonance of your experience.
Yeah.
However, recognizing the value of the why brings up a very practical dilemma, which the text also anticipates.
Okay, what's the dilemma?
Well, it's wonderful to know your why, and it's great to have an anchor sentence. But what if you are currently stuck in a massive rut?
Ah.
What if you are that first person from the story, sitting on the couch, entirely burnt out, scrolling videos, and feeling completely disconnected from any sense of play.
Right. It's super easy to talk about the joy of a hobby when you actually have one, but how do we overcome that heavy gravitational pull of the couch?
It's tough.
So the guide moves from theory into practical action here. It introduces a behavioral strategy that revolves around something called the 10-minute rule.
And the psychological advice here is incredibly grounded. The text explicitly warns against making grandiose plans.
Right, don't overdo it.
Do not declare that you're going to train for a marathon or paint a giant masterpiece.
Instead, it says to start or even restart with a tiny 10-minute routine. The guide even offers specific new hobby ideas tailored to this rule.
Like what?
Well, it suggests journaling, but not, writing a full memoir, just writing one single page a day to help understand your life.
That's very manageable.
Or doing just light exercise, like a brief yoga session. It also highlights a strategy called connecting hobbies.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so for example, running in the morning to get energy and then writing for 5 minutes at night to wind down, creating this balanced daily routine.
It's a great approach.
Now, I've got to be honest with you, I am incredibly skeptical of this.
Really? Why?
Because I've tried the just journal for 10 minutes thing after a grueling 50-hour work week.
And how did that go?
Not well. I usually just end up staring at a blank page, feeling even worse because now I'm failing at relaxing too.
Ah, I see.
I mean, how is a 10-minute routine not just another stressful item on an already overflowing to-do list?
Can a tiny drop in the bucket really give you the energy and calm the text promises?
That is the exact trap most high achievers fall into. You are judging the 10-minute routine by the metric of mastery or output.
Well, yeah. If I'm doing it, I want it to be good.
But the psychology embedded in this guide relies on a concept from physics called activation energy.
Okay, science time.
Think of starting a new hobby like pushing a stalled car. The 10-minute rule isn't meant to get you to your final destination. It is designed entirely to overcome the massive initial friction of getting the heavy wheels to turn that very first inch.
Oh, so it's basically about tricking your brain's resistance.
Yes, exactly. When you're burnt out, your brain views a 2-hour painting session as a mountain.
Too much effort.
It requires way too much cognitive load to initiate, so you default to scrolling videos because it's easy. But by shrinking the requirement to just 10 minutes or just one page of a journal, you lower the threshold of resistance to almost zero.
That makes sense. 10 minutes is so insignificant that your brain cannot logically justify an excuse to say no.
It bypasses the inner critic.
It does. And what happens in those 10 minutes is profound. You experience an identity shift.
An identity shift.
Yes, you transition from a passive consumer to an active participant. The energy you gain doesn't come from the physical exertion of 10 minutes of yoga.
Right.
It comes from the psychological win of keeping a small promise to yourself. You break the cycle of inertia that the runner in the story struggled with.
Man, I really like that framing. It's the spark, not the whole fire.
Exactly.
So let's play this out. You've pushed the stalled car. You've established this micro-routine. You're successfully painting your coffee cups for 10 minutes a day or writing your single page.
You doing the thing.
Right. But to actually reap the social benefits we talked about at the beginning, you have to be able to share it. You have to translate this private routine into public connection.
Which brings us to the mechanics of language, the grammar of connection, if you will.
Yeah.
And true to the guide's philosophy of keeping things simple to avoid cognitive overload, the mechanics section is incredibly streamlined.
It really is. It introduces a specific grammar focus without making you wade through a dusty textbook.
Nobody wants that.
No. The focus is on gerunds, but it distills the rule down to a simple, memorable formula. Enjoy plus ing.
It is a syntax shortcut.
Exactly. You don't need to overthink the phrasing, I enjoy painting, I enjoy cooking, I enjoy running.
Simple, clean.
It communicates your interests smoothly and naturally without requiring your stressed brain to build a complex sentence architecture on the fly.
It reduces cognitive friction for both the speaker and the listener. And the guide doesn't stop at the grammar rule.
Right, there's more.
It provides a foolproof, three-step sentence builder. This is how you construct that confident anchor sentence we discussed earlier.
Oh, the three-step formula is brilliant because it's practically plug and play. Let's walk through it for everyone.
Sure.
Step 1, you start with the phrase, in my free time, I. Step 2, you add the hobby, reading, drawing, dancing, playing guitar.
Got it.
And step 3, you add the reason, the all-important why. Because it helps me relax or because it makes me feel free.
So the final product becomes, in my free time, I read because it helps me relax.
Woo, done.
Notice what that single sentence achieves. It answers the question directly, it provides a specific detail about your life, and it offers emotional resonance.
All at once.
It does all of that in a single breath, completely bypassing the awkwardness of a blank stare.
It operates like a conversational algorithm. Once you have that formula locked in, your brain doesn't have to panic and invent a structure under pressure.
Yeah,
It just fills in the blanks.
exactly.
And that brings us to the ultimate payoff detailed in the text. Hobbies are the perfect vehicle for making friends and building rapport effortlessly.
Because they bypass the superficial layers of interaction. Think about the standard networking question. What do you do for a living?
Oh, the worst.
The answers are often guarded, competitive, or frankly just boring. But when you deploy the formula and say, I'm into cooking because it helps me decompress, you invite genuine engagement.
The text points this out perfectly. The natural, almost reflexive response from the other person is going to be, me too. What do you cook?
It instantly creates a bridge. You immediately arrive at common ground based on shared joy or shared emotional needs.
Right.
You're no longer two strangers evaluating each other's resumes. You are two people connecting over the shared human need to unwind.
So let's bring all these pieces together for you listening right now. We've unpacked the Finding Your Flow guide, and the takeaways are just incredibly practical for your daily life.
Very actionable.
First, when faced with the dreaded "what do you do for fun" question, remember that simplicity is a cognitive strategy, not a weakness. Use simple, powerful anchor sentences to prevent your brain from short-circuiting.
Second, always move from the what to the why.
Yes, the flavor.
Right, the specific activity is just data. The emotion behind it, whether it's running to feel free or painting to feel calm, is the flavor that makes your answer compelling.
Third, if you are stuck in a burnout cycle of passive consumption, use the 10-minute rule.
Don't plan a marathon.
No! Lower the barrier of entry to 0. Just push the stalled car 1 inch to shift your identity from consumer to creator.
And finally, use the enjoy plus ing formula and the three-step sentence builder to share those passions. Use that framework to confidently open doors and find those Me Too moments with others.
Which brings us to the actionable challenge for today.
Oh, the challenge.
The guide actually issues a specific challenge, and we are passing it directly on to you. Today, tell exactly one person about your hobby. Just one.
Use the three-step formula we discussed.
Exactly. And if you are sitting there realizing you don't currently have a hobby, that is completely fine. Your challenge is to pick a 10-minute activity.
Keep it simple.
It could be walking around the block, sketching a coffee cup, learning a new word, or cooking a simple meal. Try it just 3 times this week and observe how that tiny routine changes your energy levels.
That's a great challenge.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Something that builds on everything we've explored today about the psychology of free time.
Let's hear it.
We started by examining why we freeze up at that pop quiz question. What do you do for fun? We talked about the fight or flight response, the cognitive load, all that.
Right.
But maybe there's a deeper, more philosophical reason why that question carries so much weight. Think about it. Our jobs, our studies, our daily chores, these are mostly things we do because we have to.
Obligations.
Right. We need the paycheck, we need the grade, we need to survive.
Hmm.
But our hobbies, those are the things we choose to do when no one is paying us and no one is greeting us. They are entirely voluntary.
That's true.
So, are our hobbies actually the truest reflection of who we really are?
Wow. That reframes the entire conversation.
Doesn't it?
If our free time is the only time we act with total agency, then asking, what do you do for fun, isn't a small talk question at all. It's an inquiry into your core identity.
Exactly. Maybe that's why the question feels so heavy. You're not just telling an interviewer how you spend your Saturday mornings, you are revealing who you are when the world isn't watching.
It raises the stakes of the conversation.
It does. But hopefully, with the simple formulas and the 10-minute micro routines we unpacked today, those stakes feel a lot more manageable.
Absolutely.
Keep exploring, keep pushing that stalled car, and keep finding your flow. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.